What's going on? What's going on? Back in here. Back in here with another one. Back in here with another one. Let's get ready to go. Let's get this thing started. Y'all know how I do. I'm always dotting the I's and crossing the. Damn it, I should have changed that. I'll fix that later. But all right. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Whether you're catching it live or as you're catching it after it's uploaded, make sure you hit the like button and let people know that you're here. That help me out with the algorithm. I do appreciate it. We're about to be getting this thing started. About to finally be talking about you see the title when you see the thumbnail. I don't need to I don't need to preface it no more than what you already know. So let's go ahead. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it started. Let's get it. As soon as I find the intro, let's go.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. Y'all probably can hear me, but can't see me. Probably can hear me, but can't see me. What's up, everybody? Yeah. I see you down there saying, what the hell? Yeah, we in here. We are in here. Let me get my earpiece together. I see you down in the back chat. This was a very, very dysfunctional start, but we rolling. But we are rolling. Let me get my earpiece together. Got that right. And we didn't even do a sound check, but we about to go ahead and do a live sound check. Mic check 1, 2.
Yeah, mic check.
We are good to go. What's going on, man?
Hey, nothing much. Yeah, don't feel bad either. You should see me trying to get ready for one of my shows. I'm always on CP time. It's just how it is, bro.
Yeah, all day. But before we get into it, shout out to everybody who's in the building bright and early. I gotta get. You know what? I forgot to put Looney Left in the thumbnail. Don't be enough room to put it in the title sometimes, but I should have put it in the thumbnail. It definitely needed to be there. So I don't know. Got to make a little logo so I can just put Looney Left in the corner of every thumbnail when we do this. But all right. But shout out to everybody in the building. Robert J. Carmichael in the building with a $5 super chat. Shout out to you, Deacon, not Deacon, D-Rock Den in the building, Excalibur, and Robert J. Carmichael back in here with another one. Came through with a $5 super chat and a $20 super chat. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely can't even talk. Definitely appreciate that. And SKC in the building says, Rutro, BR talking politics. Let the pick a side wars begin. 2022 primary manosphere politic wars. Man, cut it out, SKC. Cut it out. Mr. Negative, the negative man, says, I'm a woman, prove me wrong. So we're going to start the show off today. The first question that I'm going to ask Hood Servative, and you have 3.7 seconds to answer this question. What's a woman?
I don't know. I'm not a biologist.
Come on. Chat room.
Question
What's a woman?
asked, question answered. That is my answer, sir. I am not a biologist. All right. That is the answer that is acceptable nowadays. That answer will get you a great job if you play that card just right.
Chat room. The question is on the floor for you. What's a woman? You can give serious answers or not. But it's a lot to unpack and get into this. We got a lot of stuff that we about to cover here, but I featured in the title the whole woman thing. It's actually a more serious, more disturbing side of this, with her, being soft on okay, the algorithm gonna be messed up either way on this show. It's her being soft on child porn, or somebody who was watching child pornography. Her being soft on that. That's a more disturbing thing that we're going to try to unpack. The lighter thing is actually the question of what's a woman. It's so funny that Jesse Lee Peterson actually asks that question all the time. Cory Booker.
Hey, it's so funny. I wanted to start with the Cory Booker clip because that is so funny. And there's another issue, I think, aside from the video and the questions from Congress.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole concept of female leadership. So we got Kamala Harris on the one end, right? Black woman, all right? Doesn't matter how you feel about it. She's a black woman. Y'all gave her the pass, and she's carrying the flag. Air quotes are not even applicable anymore. She's black. Now, you got this lady, on the other hand, rising up to the heights of black female leadership. I think we got to have a conversation about black female leadership and the kinds of men that it creates. That's why I want to play the Cory Booker thing.
Okay, so we can start with Cory Booker. We can start with Cory Booker. No doubt about that. We can start with that. Robert J. Carmichael in the building says she knew what a woman was when it came down to marrying that white man. I understand where you're going there, but that ain't even where my mind at with this. The all the black Supreme Court justices. We talked about that. We touched on that. That's a separate issue to some degree. Yeah. I'll go ahead and put that in a separate category. How most of the nominees were married to non-black people. That's a separate conversation. The part that's very interesting, and I'm going to keep circling it back to this, is that she was hired. Was actually in the thumbnail. Joe Biden said he wanted to hire a black woman. Everybody said, yeah. Why? They knew exactly what the hell a woman was. He hired that woman. She's there going through the job acceptance process. What's a woman? I don't know. You knew what you knew what a woman was when he said he wanted to hire a woman. You proudly you raised your hand for the job, basically. Over here, you hired a woman, black woman. Over here, they asked her was a woman. I'm not a biologist. You should have said you're not a biologist. That's what everybody should have said. What do you mean by woman? We're not biologists. We don't know what a woman is. He could have hired a fat white man. By the logic that they're going with, he could have nominated a fat white man. I'm not a biologist. I don't know what a woman is.
Technically,
go ahead.
Technically, I hate to say it because it's such a it's almost dangerous to even say it this way. I think Tucker Carlson and the Babylon Bee both, they just got suspended from Twitter for pointing this out. The Babylon Bee is it's like a mock newspaper. It's very funny. Okay. It's very popular, and they come up with gag headlines. A lot of their headlines turn out to be weirdly true in the future, though. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they both got kicked off Twitter for joking about Rachel Levine, who is the I forgot the title, but Biden put this trans person as our the Secretary General. I forget what you call it, the Surgeon General. So the top doctor of the entire country, a military doctor at that. Rachel Levine, who basically spent the majority of their life as a fat white man. Yeah.
What?
Look, Rachel Levine.
For a second, I heard it, but just say it again.
So you were talking about Biden could have easily picked a fat white man for this job, and I'm like, well, technically, he gave a fat white man a different job, as a woman though. As a woman, that's the weird part. So Rachel Levine, a trans person who spent most of their life as a fat white man, yeah. He's giving fat white men women's jobs anyway. Sooner or later, he's going to replace a black woman with a fat white man too.
So, wow. Well, okay. I guess forgive me for not knowing the backstory on this. What made the job a woman's job, or did he announce that I'm going to hire a woman in this position?
Trans women are women, bro.
I know, but did he formally announce? Was this job? Why was this job supposed to be a woman's job? Did he say that I was giving it to a woman?
No, not specifically like that. He just the first ever trans woman to take that position.
Okay, so all right. No, I got it. So just the mere fact that he hired a trans woman, in his way, he's meeting his diversity quota technically, even though he gave it to a man. Okay, I got where you're going. You going. My bad for being slow. I was trying to just make sure I had all the backstory right on that. But all right. Let's all right. So I'm about to pull up the Cory Booker clip, but I feel like we'd be remiss if I didn't just mention Jesse Lee Peterson, who I don't know why. Right now, it kind of makes sense that he does it, but when he used to do it, it was just out of nowhere. He'll be interviewing somebody, and he'll be interviewing them about honestly anything. It didn't matter what the subject was, but he would ask everybody the question, "What's a man?" And I was shocked at how many people stumbled over that answer. This was before all the trans stuff was going on. It was before all of that. He asked everybody he interviews, "What's a man?" And very few have just looked him right in his eyes and gave the correct answer. The correct answer to that question is always an adult male member of the human species. That's it. What's a woman? An adult female member of the human species. That's it. It's like you don't have to fumble and fight over that one. It's like
you do. And there's a brilliance in the question because it's a very subtle dig. Not even a dig, but it makes you work hard subconsciously without even him trying. When you ask what is a man, unlike when you ask what is a woman, when you ask what is a man, there is also, aside from the physical description you just gave that both men and women share, there is a practical moral application to the answer as well. So that's why they stumble on those things. Well, a man has to do this. A man is a person like that. A man behaves in such ways. They're not describing physical characteristics. And I don't know that the question gets addressed in the same way with women But when it comes to what is a man, there is that subtle backstory of, yeah, you're physically male, but are you a man? And that's why I think it's not quite the same, and it does matter.
Well, either way, people just need to. If the okay, let me explain it like this. If Jesse Lee Peterson, even though he does ask the question in sort of in the same vein that what you described, he's asking what is the role of a man? What is a man's responsibilities? What does a man do? But and so when you ask that question, yes, there's more than one sentence to answer it. I get that. But just going forward, if I'm not even trying to be the political strategist for the people on the left here, but if they just said that if they answered the question straightforward, and then when the follow-up question came, then they got into their whole little tap dance. Okay. Okay. Because now you're talking about gender roles and all that stuff, but the mere fact that they just cannot say what we learned in kindergarten cop, that boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. If you watch that movie, he was in the kindergarten class and they were talking about boys and girls and blah blah blah. So it just blows my mind that just start right there. Just start right there. Answer the question. Sound like an adult, an adult who we're hiring to preside over on some of the most important issues for the country. You're on the Supreme Court. It's kind of important. So just speak like an adult. And then if they ask details, then give your mumbo jumbo and all that. I could even live with that. I could even live with that. Just come in the room talking like a grown up. That's all. But the big mic drop in the building. Shout out to this brother right here. Good brother. He says she's going to go up to the SCOTUS and act a fool on trans cases. That's clearly the case. That's clearly the case. Prepare to be undermined into perpetuity, black man. Shout out to you. Do appreciate you coming through the super chat. My man, Sir Tice in the building. I got your email. I'm thinking about that one. What you propose in the email. I'll try to, if I forget to get back to you, just remind me. He says, but she black though. That was that's the argument. Says the leftist sheep. We know good and well why she dodged that woman question. By the way, did you know? Okay, you said, but she black though. Says the leftist sheep. Okay, I'm trying to unpack everything that you're saying there. By the way, did you know Biden blocked a black woman? What does that F/ mean? Supreme Court approval. Janice Rogers Brown. Do you know what he's talking about right there?
Yeah, that's 100% true. It's back in the 90s, I think. They had what would have been the first black woman nominee. She didn't even get that far into the process. But they suppressed her. And now years later, Biden gets to check the black check mark about supporting black people by supporting the first black woman on the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm about to pull up your boy Cory Booker, and hold on. As I pull this up, I have a confession to make. Okay, hold on. Y'all coming through fast, quick, in a hurry with the super chats. I do appreciate it. Deadly Raver in the building says, what is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. I know some of you know why that's the right answer. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. As I pull this up now, I do have a confession to make. I, for very selfish reasons, was rooting for Cory Booker to win the presidency, and I'll tell you why.
Rosario Dawson.
No.
Oh, okay. No. That's the only reason he was acceptable ever.
No. The reason being is because Key and Peele, when they do that, Jordan Peele was playing Obama, and Keegan Michael Key was playing the Luther, Obama's anger translator. That shit was funny as hell to me. And so I wanted Cory Brooker to win so they can keep the skit going. But Key could play the president, Cory Brooker, and then Jordan Peele could be some version of the anger translator. So they could have kept that bit going for another 4 years had Cory Brooker made it into the White House. That's what I was hoping to happen. Just to keep that joke going of the Obama anger translator, it would have been perfect because Keegan Michael Key, Jordan, if you watch Key and Peele, that's Jordan Peele. Before Jordan Peele blew up and became, the filmmaker that he is now, his right-hand man, Key and Peele, he looked like Cory Brooker already. So I wanted to see them keep those skits going. So I wanted Cory Brooker to blow up a little more, and then they could just, step into that role. I was rooting for that for my own selfish comedic reasons because it just would have been funny as hell. But other than that, Cory Brooker is not that
imagine what they would do with this skit right here. This is a skit from Key and Peele all by itself right here, though.
Yeah. I wanted they would have killed it. They would have killed it if Cory Brooker ever rise to prominence. They got so much to work with. Because they just killed it on the Obama stuff. But anyway, moving along. So let's get into Cory Brooker. And okay, let's go.
As Langston Hughes wrote, "Oh, let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, but yet must be the land where everyone is free. Oh, yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, but I swear this oath, America will be." That is the story of how you got to this desk, you and I and everyone here, generations of folk who came here and said, America, I'm Irish. You may say, no, Irish or dogs need to fly, but I'm going to show this country that I can be free here. I can make this country love me as much as I love it.
I thought he was supposed to be asking questions.
Forced into near slave labor, building our railroads, connecting our country. Saw the ugliest of America.
Hold on, stop. Did you catch that?
Yeah, he says about the Asians building the railroads, building this country.
I thought there wasn't no slaves but black folk. Wait, hold on.
Let's back it up.
Yeah. Are the Asians about to get a check? I bet you the Asians get reparations for slavery before we do. Now I see where this is going, Corey. I see what you did there, Corey. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to focus. I mean, yeah, we can. There is the thing how, black people not realizing, that all of their struggle and everything their fight for is being lumped in with everything. Like he's bending over backwards to bring everybody else pressures, struggle and oppressions that they had into it. He talked about the Irish, how they were treated when they first came over, the Asians building the railroad. You're going to get to the LGBTQ. And again, that's how another reason why the things that the black people who do think that the government needs to give us more stuff, that they're undercutting. It's a finite amount of funds, and they advocate for everybody else. So it's a weird thing, but then complain that things aren't being done or given to their group. So that's something that's the people on the left. That's their problem, and they don't even realize it because I guess the people higher up on the left, the people higher up, they want all those people. They want all those minorities. They want that big rainbow tent. The "We Are the World, We Are the Children." Everybody joins hands, form a love train. They want everybody under the tent, and they are getting black politicians and black people in some type of position or in some type of power or just some type of microphone to speak to that, to help recruit all the other groups to come join the rainbow tent and fight to just get, white liberals power that's not going to trickle down to them in the way that they want it to. And then they're going to complain and call the country racist. But they're, it's a weird dance that black people who are staunch down on the left got going on. That's what I'm hearing here so far overall.
Not only that, before you continue, I want you to think about that idea and look at the image on the screen. There, politically speaking, there are very few black people as powerful as the two on screen right now. She's going to be on the Supreme Court. He is a senator. He's one of the few. How many other black male senators are there?
Right.
So, as just a matter of imagery right now, they are the pinnacles in a certain manner of thinking. This is what they want you to be. This is the model black woman standing next to the model black man, and he is kissing her ass so hard right now. That's the image. That's the goal for you right now. That's your future.
SKC alleges that more Chinese people died making railroad than black people lynched. Okay, what was killing you during the making of railroads? I don't understand the process. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. Well, for one, there's just the process of digging tunnels. That alone, mining, going through, underground, digging through mountains and whatnot, that alone is dangerous.
Yeah.
Two, just simple attrition. Some Asian guy got worked a little too hard, probably caught typhus, yellow fever, all these little diseases. I mean, not yellow fever.
That was racist.
But,
that was racist.
I know, I totally racist. Yellow fever doesn't even come from America, but there was actual illnesses plus general racism, attrition. Some of them got roughed up and hauled off to God knows where and buried in a hole somewhere. Like all kinds of things happened to the Asian people who were building the railroads. They weren't all just working the laundry in the off hours. Stuff was going down.
Okay, you're still making a bad argument, SKC. Because you're comparing, I think the daily grind of slavery probably killed some people in addition to being lynched. So I'm going to assume that once you add in the daily grind, it's like you're comparing somebody doing hard labor where the daily grind killed them versus people who were murdered. I don't think that's an equal comparison. But I see what you did there. But where we at? Okay, let's roll some.
Someone says yellow fever is in America. I was right. I was accurate. Okay, my bad.
I don't know what the hell yellow fever is. I just know they called Chinese people or Asian people yellow. They called them yellow for some reason, and so yellow fever just sound racist.
I think it's like a parasite-borne illness you get from like somewhere near water. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, it is a thing, and it will kill you.
Mm-hmm. Like the China virus. All right, let's go.
Here and say, America, you may not love me yet, but I'm gonna make this nation live up to its promise and hope.
All right, well, hold on. We gotta back it up because you feeling this. You feeling this down in your soul.
Our country saw the ugliest of America, but they were going to build their home here and say, America, you may not love me yet, but I'm going to make this nation live up to its promise and hope. LGBTQ Americans, from Stonewall women to Seneca, hidden figures who didn't even get their play until some Hollywood movie finally talked about them and how they were critical for us to find.
Yeah, look at her face, though.
People loved America.
She looking at him like, you ain't never gonna get this pussy.
It's shocking to me.
No, that's not the conversation. That is not what's going on there, man. Cut it out.
That's exactly how that goes in real life. You ain't never getting there. She dried right up. All the moisture went to her eyeballs. She gotta cry.
That was not on the table. Cut it out. But just to draw parallels from what we be seeing in this YouTube space with the pandering dude who hop on a panel pandering to a dude and she giving him his little pat on the head, but she probably do be having that same look and feeling like you ain't getting this pussy though, but thank you. I do understand where you're coming, but that's not what's happening here. Now, we can acknowledge
it's all in the subtext, man. Subconscious things going on here.
Oh man, we can acknowledge the Okay, I don't know if she's. I guess. I think she's wiping an invisible tear. I don't know. Anyway, all right.
Look at
They do
that
that on
face,
TV.
bro. Stone face right now. Ain't no man ever said anything as nice to her as he's doing right now, bro. Look at that face. She can't even smile back at him. You can't even smile at the black man.
Man, I didn't even catch all that. I didn't catch all that, man. Go, man. I'm just rolling it, man. I don't know if it was a tear to wipe. I mean, I would bet she feeling what he's saying. She feel it down in her soul. He's preaching that good word. Cut it out. Cut it out. All right.
Gravity. All of these people loved America. And so you faced insults here that were shocking to me. Well, actually not shocking. But you are here because of that kind of love. And nobody's taken this away from me. So you got 5 more folk to go through. 5 more of us. And then you can sit back and let us have all the debates. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a well-charted Senate floor because it's not going to stop. They're going to accuse you of this and that. Heck, in honor of your person who shares your birthday, you might be called a communist. But don't worry, my sister. Don't worry. God has got you. And how do I know that? Because you're here. And I know what it's taken for you to sit in that seat.
All right. So
I
I
think he
know
cried after the speech.
I know you can be real, cold-hearted, ice water in your veins. You got a black heart that's colder than frozen lunch meat. But are you seriously going to tell me that you didn't feel that deep down in your bones, man? You felt that in your soul. You know you did.
Listen, man.
You know you did. Come on.
When she finally gets nominated and confirmed and know the whole process over, Clarence Thomas is going to be like, "Ooh, it's getting dark in here." I'm telling you, this is. I got no love for this lady whatsoever. This is. I don't care about all the flowery emotional rhetoric. I'm over it now, and I know what the purpose of it is anyway, and so I'm extra over it. So no, I'll pass.
Because she black, you black, y'all mama's black, and you felt that. You know you did.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. All right. Okay. Shout out to everybody who's supporting the stream. Nigerian Flex in the building says she can't define what a woman is, but she is being nominated to hear cases regarding women's reproductive rights. Effing clown world. Yeah. That's the funny thing. I said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to keep coming back to it. When Joe Biden said he wanted to nominate a black woman for Supreme Court, she raised her hand. She knew exactly what a woman was. She's sitting there in that chair and was asked a very simple question, what's a woman? And she said she's not a biologist. She doesn't know. Ezra the Daywalker in the building says Bussy Booker bought a beautiful, what is that? Barracuda as a beard. Say that 5 times. Also on social media, no black woman mentioned. Her white shout out. I think her white husband shout out, and that she's pushing P. I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Oh, bro, no, she is definitely pushing P.
What does that mean?
Philia. P-philia, but she is.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, part of all the Supreme Court nominations, this is historic more than any other because the way they had to drag, going all the way back to Clarence Thomas, right? The way they dragged him with allegations of misconduct, and then what Bork he got treated badly, and then you got you move forward to Robert Kavanaugh just a couple years ago. They really tried to drag him with allegations. They tried to do it with the lady Justice Coney Barrett. It didn't really, they couldn't really do that to her. She's a white lady. She's like a Christian and all that. It really wasn't flying. But the way they treat these Supreme Court justices with allegations, when it comes from the right, like when they're right wing, the way they just launch smears at them is crazy. But this lady, there's nothing about this that was an allegation that was made up. This is her record. This is what she said. This is on tape. We could break it down by number what she did and how messed up it was. I'm like, bro, this is historic.
Yeah. KP from KC in the building says, I'm sick of these Democrats race hustling. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Victor Carter in the building says, I looked it up. Way more people were lynched than those who died building railroads. All right. Thank you. SKCB on some bull, but it is what it is. It is interesting. I mean, listen, I don't know that much about the Chinamen that built the railroads. I don't know how much they were paid. Cory Booker referred to them as slaves. I'm assuming they were paid something, but he referred to them as slaves. I don't know that much about that. I honestly don't. So, but it's interesting. He says only 1,000-ish Chinese died. All right, and he said 5,000 lynchings. I don't even know. Okay, all right.
I think it's way more Chinese than that, because the numbers are, I don't know. I doubt the numbers are that low. 1,000 seems relatively low, but
how long were they building those railroads?
Oh, from like, I don't even know, bro, but at least like 100 years. Not even 100. Let me not say 100, but what?
I mean, it sounds like it would. Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, that sounds like a multi-decade operation. So,
and it's not like it was just one railroad from east to west. We're talking about multiple projects across different states and at different places in time. So who knows the real number without me investigating? I just suspect it's more than 1,000.
Yeah, you're talking about a multi-decade operation, and where the life expectancy was already low back then. Anyway, I don't know. So I'm not trying to measure that. I'm not trying to measure that. But anyway, and I'm not trying to just trump up somebody else's struggle. I don't do the victim Olympics thing. But all right. Victor Carter back in the building with another super chat. He says it was 1,000 died. Okay, we already talking about this. He said it was about 1,000 died, about 12,000 workers in all. The remains were sent back to China. Way better than black people have ever been treated in this country. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. That you know what? That would be a good show to do with SKC. I'm sure he would love to try to bring all the receipts of everybody that got treated worse than Black American slaves. He probably would be happy to do that show. He would come with a smile from ear to ear, talk about other people's oppression, just to say, just go ahead.
No, actually call it the Oppression Olympics. And you got to bring your stats and your statistics and fight for the gold. The final fight for the gold. Like let's really put the numbers up. I want to do that one day too. It sounds like fun.
And you got to come with fact, stats, no emotional arguments. We're looking at raw numbers. We want a body count. God damn it, we got to see bodies before you can't come in here talking about how you feel when you look at this documentary. No. We want numbers. We want to see who really got it the worst. I remember Dave Chappelle made a joke about that. He said we talking to arguing back and forth with a Jewish guy about who was suffered or oppressed or treated the worst, and he pointed out, he said that the Jewish man, he was a formidable opponent in that oppression battle that they were having. He said he was like as soon as I had him on the ropes, he went all the way back to Egypt. I was like, God damn, like you didn't took us back there. He's like, I know we were just comparing slavery and the Holocaust, and he pulled Egypt out. I didn't know what to do. But anyway, Victor Carter in the building says, ha, and oppression tier list. Yeah. Somebody need to do that show. But all right, we about to dig into some more of this. Let me pull up. Well, hold on. Let me bring that. Got that one brought down. All right, now we're about to start from the top. This one probably is going to deal with what we've already. Wait, nope. Okay, all right, yeah, this is going to dig into what we were already more or less talking about. All right, let's see. This is just going back to what I said about providing a definition of a woman. I do want to get into the other stuff because the other stuff was a little more interesting. Well, it varies. It depends on whether you want to hear the good, the bad, or the ugly. But we already talked about this, but let's go ahead and just roll the clip.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
I
Oh,
can't.
my bad.
you can't.
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the
biologist.
meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the
All right.
law and I decide. So I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about. Just last week, an entire generation of young girls watched as our taxpayer-funded institutions permitted a biological man to compete and beat a biological woman in the NCAA swimming championships.
It's a good thing it was in boxing. That's all I know.
Well, it's already happened in the MMA. Shout out to Fallon Fox giving chicks comas out here. Yo, the patriarchy is undefeated. Yeah, I was covering this last week and I said, you know what? This is a new patriarchy. This is trans patriarchy. I invented a new hashtag, bro. The trans patriarchy. The patriarchy will not stop. Patriarchy will reign for 1,000 years. Even if we tell the least of us to put on dresses and go take the women on head on, the patriarchy must always win. I stand on that. Patriarchy now, patriarchy tomorrow, patriarchy forever, bro.
I think you got a compelling case that men who are still, men in the traditional sense should just go ahead and embrace it. Team up with the trans women who are biologically born men. Just team up with them and be like, yes, go and out battle and out compete and just go and dominate. You know what I mean?
What a better way for men to suppress women than to become women.
the men who want to really for now I don't put myself in this category, but the men who want to really oppress women, yeah, they should be stroking their beard like, you know what? We can make sure that they don't win anything if we get enough of us to put on a dress and defeat them in every competition.
And look, men are so competitive. This will go across the board. There will be no cooking competitions. There will be no knitting. Men will dominate everything that women have once done. And what will be left but having babies and baking cookies? Like, you will be left no other choice but to go home and make some babies. That's going to be the one thing that men can't really outcompete you in yet. I don't even want that day to come, but I know there's some guy, he's probably in a Chinese lab 2 miles underground working on that stuff. But yeah, it's getting rough out here, ladies. I don't know. You're running out of options is all I'm saying, ladies. You might as well like settle down and get married before the wall really comes for you.
Oh man. All right. Me and Zero, well, okay, I don't even want to say me and Zero did a stream about that. We did a stream about something, And then he trolled me for like an hour making the case that men should change their gender on paper
I
and then
remember.
go and take advantage. Yeah, you probably like that one, huh? Go and take advantage of everything that's every female centered or government funds or grants or loans or this or that. Change your gender on paper and try to get every position, every job, every and he was basically saying just do that. He's like that's how men can take back power. Just change your gender on paper. And he's like, okay, you might have to put on a dress, but no, don't worry about that. It's about power. It's like come on, man.
Hey, listen. Hold on. Those dudes in dresses are so powerful that black women can't even say what a woman is in public anymore, bro. That's power. Shut that bitch up.
What message do you think this sends to girls who aspire to compete and win in sports at the highest levels?
Senator, I'm not sure what message that sends. If you're asking me about the legal issues related to it, those are topics that are being hotly discussed, as you say, and
Right.
could come to the court. So I'm not
And
able
I
to-
think it tells our girls that their voices don't matter. I think it tells them that they're second-class citizens, and parents want to have a Supreme Court justice who is committed to preserving parental autonomy and protecting our nation's children.
All right.
No,
What you-
there's a clip I play on my show. This lady was in Congress and she got into a little spat on the floor, and it was a little viral moment when she was like, how dare you say black women don't care about family? She said, how dare you say we don't care about family in the black community? And I just think it's hilarious because, you got this first black woman on the Supreme Court. She can't even tell you what a woman is. She's really unsure. I just think like it's a weird L for black womanhood. Y'all got to huddle up and talk about this, girls. I would love to hear all the girls get together and just discuss this amongst themselves. I wouldn't even input nothing. I just want to listen.
Here's the question. Is there a liberal, is there a Democratic black male politician who could have got nominated for that same position, who could be asked that same question and give an answer better than what she did? I tend to believe that they are like, we just played a clip of Cory Booker. He's the king of not answering questions or taking the politically correct safe route in a question. So yeah, you could talk about that L for for black women, that she just couldn't even say what a woman was. But I think all the black male Democrats in any position, I don't care whether you're talking senator, governor, anything, you name it, they would tap dance the same way. Would you agree or disagree?
I don't know that I would. I think on the Democrat side, they have a particular problem. Yes. Pretty much anybody coming from the left has that box where you're afraid to offend your base. And even though she doesn't have a base technically, as like, she's not running for office and never has in any real way, but she is of the ideology. And that's what makes her even more dangerous. She's not a political liar. She's a true believer. And I'm not saying she is, but that's what, you give the appearance now of are you a true believer? Or are you saying this for political reasons? Like which one is it?
Well, I think a true believer would look right at the camera and say that whether or not a person is a man or a woman, that cannot be determined at birth. It is on the individual to decide if they're a man or a woman. I think a true believer just looks right in the camera or right into the eyes of the person they're talking to and just says that. I think everybody who's flimsy about it like her, they're not a true believer. You see, So I think the true believers are rare. It's just the simple fact that the small group of people that are actually, you know, LGBTQ, they they have a lot of allies, to the point where if you offend them, you're not just offending this 3% of the 3% of the population. You're offending, I would say, damn near 50% of the population, because 50% of the population will get up in arms if you say something bad about that 3% of the population. So, but the true believer, I've heard true believers really talk, and they'll talk firm. They will. But what you did right there, I thought those are the words of somebody who ain't really buying what they selling.
It's possible. I can't read your mind. Obviously, we're just speculating on what we can see, but it makes me uncomfortable either way, because aside from whether you're a quote true believer or not, the fact that you would take a fundamental question, a question that really touches at the essence of what it is to be a human being, and I do not buy into the multiple gender theory. You can only be a man or a woman. You can only be a male or a female, as far as I understand basic biology. That goes beyond humanity. This is more than just human beings. There are no multiple sexes in nature. You're either a male or a female, or you're some kind of, you know, single cell organism that hasn't evolved to the level of needing to be male or female. So yeah, exactly. So the fact that you would kind of ignore just what's basic and practical, and then punt and say, well, I'm not a biologist. So now what you're doing is telling me it requires an expert opinion to be sure about something basic as whether you're a woman or not.
Yeah.
What she said is, I have to determine things, you know, from a legal standpoint. So we're going to rely on the legal definition of woman. When right now we are in the process as a nation, as a culture, we're in the process of changing the definition of words. So we're going to change the legal definition of woman, and then she is going to reinforce that definition and say, well, it says here right in the books, a woman is any person who decides that they want to identify as a woman. That's what it says in the books. And now she's going to stand on that, because, you know, she's not a biologist, so she has to read what's in the book.
Yeah. All right, let's roll into it. Now, this is a more problematic part of this, so let's go ahead and dig into this one. Tell me to pause it at any moment.
Wait, there's another clip. I think I sent it to you with Ted Cruz, and he was questioning her about the whole woman thing. He really got right to the heart of it. Like, sooner or later, this will come up in a case about deciding over trans rights. At some point, the Supreme Court nominee who cannot define woman in an open hearing will have to decide on trans rights issues. And so that's really where this is headed.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me drop this one down. I can bring Ted Cruz right up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, because it gets much, much darker after this what is a woman thing. No, that's not is that
Ted Cruz? That's Ted.
No, but there's several clips. I'm not sure if this clip, I think, is about
okay, hold on.
something darker. Let me see if I
right. No, that's not Ted. I think that's the only one you sent me with Ted. You may have to find it and then pull it up, and then you share it, and then
I think I'd have it queued up. 1 second here.
Yeah, and I'll pull this down and we can pull yours up. Because I don't see. Oh, you know what? I can tell you didn't send it. Well, it looked like you sent me this. One of the clips was was that the same one? Okay.
No, I have it queued up. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me 2 seconds here.
All right, cool.
Because I had so many things, I didn't want to like flood your email with a bunch of stuff, because I'll stack up like 40 different clips and not use all of them on my own show.
Yeah, don't send me 40 clips. Boy. But all right. It's 214 people in the building. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate each and every one of you being here on this Saturday morning. Well, almost Saturday afternoon. But appreciate each and every one of you coming on through. That's the clip right there. So go ahead. You got the controls.
So yesterday, under questioning from Senator Blackburn, you told her that you couldn't define what a woman is, that you were not a biologist, which I think you're the only Supreme Court nominee in history who's been unable to answer the question, what is a woman? Let me ask you, as a judge, how would you determine if a plaintiff had Article III standing to challenge a gender-based rule, regulation, policy, without being able to determine what a woman was?
So, Senator, I know that I'm a woman. I know that Senator Blackburn is a woman, and the woman who I...
How does she know that if she's not a biologist, though?
Exactly.
And I'm being a dick by even asking it that way, but now we're playing by her rules in her world. We're living inside her mind with the answers she provided us. How can you tell me? How can I be sure that she's a woman now? That's all I'm saying. I'm so unsure about everything now. How do I know?
It's a perfectly valid question. She can't speak with that kind of okay. She can speak with confidence. I suppose she can speak with confidence that she knows that she's a woman. I suppose she could do that based off the rules that are being set up. But I don't think you could speak with that much confidence of whether or not the other person she named is a woman, unless did that person tell you that they're a woman, and did that person hear from a biologist? Or how did that person determine? So is it a matter of I know a person is a woman if they say they're a woman? I think those are the words that probably should have came out of her mouth if she's really going to stand in what she's saying. That
oh wow, I just had a
know.
thought.
Go ahead.
In the future, there will be a thing called the V card to prove that you're a woman. Okay. You'll have to apply for your V card. That way it'll just be a simple matter of course I'm a woman. Check my card.
Yeah. You gotta
yeah, the V card.
And it may not be a bad thing for, those who want to make sure that, said woman is born a woman. She got to go. She can get some actual certified card, get a card. Where it was, she went in, she was checked out. It was proven she has ovaries and the whole works, and she got her card, and so she can, just show you the card at the club. Okay, cool, great. We can move like you checking somebody's ID.
Yeah. USDA 100% certified natural born vagina, a V card.
Exactly. Yeah. That might not be a bad thing.
Admire most in the world is in the room today. My mother. It sounded as though the question was.
But let me ask, under the modern leftist sensibilities, if I decide right now that I'm a woman, then apparently I'm a woman. Does that mean that I would have Article III standing to challenge a gender-based restriction?
Senator, to the extent that you are asking me about who has the ability to bring lawsuits based on gender, those kinds of issues are working their way through the courts, and I'm not able to comment on them.
Okay, if I can change my gender, if I can be a woman, and then an hour later, if I decide I'm not a woman anymore, I guess I would lose Article III standing. Tell me, does that same principle apply to other protected characteristics? For example, I'm an Hispanic man. Could I decide I was an Asian man? Would I have the ability to be an Asian man and challenge Harvard's discrimination because I made that decision?
That's literally a case coming up.
Whoa, back that up. He made it go ahead, back it up some.
Yeah, Ted Cruz was amazing, and I don't really care for Ted Cruz all that much, but every now and then he shines, and this whole thing, he stood out. Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, they really dragged her this last couple of days. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Ability to bring lawsuits based on gender, those kinds of issues are working their way through the courts, and I'm not able to comment on them.
Okay, if I can change my gender, if I can be a woman, and then an hour later, if I decide I'm not a woman anymore, I guess I would lose Article 3 standing. Tell me, does that same principle apply to other protected characteristics? For example, I'm an Hispanic man. Could I decide I was an Asian man? Would I have the ability to be an Asian man and challenge Harvard's discrimination because I made that decision?
Senator, I'm not able to answer your question. You're asking me about hypotheticals and
I'm asking you how you would assess standing.
That is actually not much of a hypothetical. There was a big story a few years back. A dark-skinned Indian guy who technically would qualify or classify as Asian. A dark-skinned Indian guy remade himself into a black man and got way better results as he applied for college.
How did he make himself into a black man? He just started checking a box?
And he made a few cosmetic changes, but essentially, yeah, some minor superficial changes.
What changes did he make?
Instead of like the long straight Indian hair, I think he shortened his hair, so he had like a Caesar, just a short haircut, and I think he changed his name on paper. So, same record, same, class or qualifications on paper, but he just started checking the black box, and he did little things to appear more, American black, and got better results. So this is a thing of like, some people are trying to play around with race to get better legal standings.
So he did that. The only thing he truly did, he made a few changed his hair and, I don't know, grew a goatee or something. I don't know. But overall, just checking the box over time. I guess he applied for black grants, student loan. No, the whole works. He started applying for minority scholarships and whatnot. I guess, I don't know, something like that. And then he started actually getting it, and it helped him get into the schools and whatnot that he wanted to get in. That is a real thing. Okay. Yeah. So I suppose someone like Ted Cruz, who I think he said he's Hispanic, I suppose he could just start checking Asian. Like, I don't know if they actually check. I'm just curious. Somebody just started checking Asian. I mean, obviously they show up looking like Shaquille O'Neal. They're gonna be like, hold on, nigga. But I don't know if they're gonna get that anal about somebody Hispanic checking Asian for whatever reason, for some benefit to checking Asian. I don't think they're gonna get anal about it. Like, when people try to sign up for minority scholarships, I don't know if there's a prove you're a minority process.
Well, it's not so much proves you're a minority. It's more of certain minorities are more desirable for whatever reason. This is why we're talking about the Oppression Olympics. It actually does apply the way the left tries to solve problems. They will construct a pyramid of who is supposed to get what, as far as, you've been oppressed, so now you deserve this. The Asians and the browns, the brown versus yellow is essentially a fight that's making making its way all the way up to the Supreme Court because of what's going on at Harvard. Yes, technically, Asian people are supposed to be represented as a minority or a non-white ethnicity, but they outscore the black kids so heavily that there's somebody putting the thumb on the scales to make sure black kids get these spots over Asian kids who are testing way higher than them. So the qualifications are there, but the black kids are just getting in anyway. And that's what they're suing about.
Well, then they need to not call it minority scholarship. They need to just call it black or African-American scholarships. But if they call it minority scholarships, then the Asians can sneak in under the tent. They need to just basically grab their nuts and say, we ain't being inclusive. This is about black people. Deal with it, bitch. And then and then the Asians got to figure out some other way to do whatever they're doing. But if they call it minority, then then Asians can, I'm a minority. I could, they could be like, I'm an underperforming Asian, but I'm still scoring high. I'm still falling within the parameters to get in on the same, hate to say it like this, but you get what you get where I'm going.
What the hell does underperforming Asian mean? Ooh, now we're getting somewhere.
I was that's why I pulled back, because I didn't feel like the Asians they do better than everybody else in school. Like it's just a fact. You can look it up. They do extremely well. So I was just more or less saying the underperforming Asian, just, I guess, let's just say he regresses to just the mean or the average of the country as a whole.
Oh,
But
so he just dumps down to like a black person?
I said the average of the country as a whole. We're not.
Oh, okay. All right. Excuse me.
I just said the average of the country as a whole. Let's not get ridiculous. God damn it. Why do I do these damn shows with you? But anyway, so he just he regresses down to the average of the country as a whole, but that still would make him, as a minority, still qualifying for something. So it's like, that's what they're basically saying. Well, the Asians are scoring through the roof. They can get in on academic scholarships. So we don't want to let the regress to the mean of the country Asian in under the tent, because y'all getting under the tent just from kicking that, just from dunking on everybody academically. So that's what they're saying. But it's like, I mean, listen, they got right to fight for every inch. I can't knock them. They just need to change the rule if they got a problem with it and just say, no, this is for black people. So yeah, that's what they got to do. If they don't like what the Asians are doing, they just need to change the rule.
If I came in and said, I have decided I identify as an Asian man,
I would assess standing the way I assess other legal issues, which is to listen to the arguments made by the parties, consider the relevant precedents, and the constitutional principles involved, and make a determination.
You are muted if you're talking.
Yeah, I was talking. Sorry. That pretty much was that's the end of that whole spat about she can't define what a woman is, because obviously the implications go far beyond whether or not you have a vagina. It's actually starting to get into transracialism at this point. Like, the argument goes so far beyond just, you don't know what a woman is, and it does have implications, and this will be a thing. That's another reason I do understand to a certain degree. Tactically, maybe she does recognize, like, this is gonna come up in the Supreme Court at some point about trans rights. This whole swimmer thing, like, oh my goodness, it's getting to the point where you're not even doing any kind of surgery to, quote, become a woman. You're just like putting on tight clothes and skirts and whatnot. So like the swimmer that got famous a few days ago for winning at the NCAA swim meet, and after the meet came out, because I covered the show, I covered this on my show, and it was so hilarious. After the meet came out, oh wow! After the swim meet got
Wait, what happened? What happened? You said he had.
No, hold on. It was a swim meet. It was a swim meet. That's the way you describe that.
But before you said the meat came out, you said he put on a little swimsuit, and then the meat came out.
You see why this whole subject matter is just funny? You can't talk about this stuff without laughing. But no. All right. So there was a thing called a swim meet where the swimmers, they meet up to swim against each other in the pool. Okay. So after the swim meet, the girls are in the locker room, and they reported to like reporters or whatever, because now they're all popular after this story comes out. That's what I was trying to say after the story comes out. But the girls had said that this trans person walks around the locker room, quote, with his testicles and penis exposed.
So the
And
meat did come out.
yes, that's why I was cracking up. No, it really did come out, but it was after the swim. But in the article, this is what's crazy though. In the article, it's written her testicles were exposed. That's literally how the article is written. Her testicles were exposed. So yeah, this is definitely coming to a head sooner or later. This stuff has to be resolved, and I don't have any faith in her right now. She doesn't give me faith that she's gonna make the right decision here.
Man.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, homeboy who's just out swimming all the chicks, he okay. Just at a glance, because I mean I looked at this, I saw, did minimal research, but based off what I understand about it, dude, one, he clearly, well, I mean, they talking about his balls was out in the locker room, so clearly he ain't had no surgery. He trains like an athlete, so clearly, like, what did he do other than just check a different box? He shaves his legs. Like, I what the hell? What the hell did he do? It's like, I mean, it's basically just a dude pulling up saying, "Yeah, I'm a chick. Yeah, I'm competing with the chicks. I'm a chick."
It's a South Park episode. They literally had a South Park episode with a character called Strong Woman. And she was just a regular chick, and she was going up against an actual trans woman, and it was like Randy Macho Man Savage. And she was competing against Randy the Macho Man Savage as a woman, though. And the whole show, she was just getting dominated. It was crazy, and it came to life like the jokes are real now. The memes have willed themselves into reality.
Man. Oh man, you about killed me when you said when the meat came out. But all right, Mr. Barlow in the building. He says Biden is not a biologist, so KJ is not the first black woman. Logically sound argument. Logically sound argument there. Shout out to KP from KC. Says I'm sick of these Democrats race hustling. I think I read that one. Yeah, he's talking about Bussy Booker. Read that one. Okay. Victor Carter in the building. He says, looked it up. Way more people were, dude, we passed that. Way more people were lynched than those who died building the railroads. I mean, I tend to generally believe that. I mean, that SKC just be throwing stuff out there. Well, no, SKC, he does his research, but he's also a troll. So you don't know if he actually researched something legitimately, or if he just messing with you. But generally speaking, when SKC get his facts together, he does good work. But when he just throws something out there, I never know if he's just playing or not. But a story to tell in the building. He says he wore gray sweatpants stuffed with tube socks. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Oh man. I about died. All right, now I think we're moving to the
yeah, we needed to have a good laugh because it gets darker after this. It's a lot harder to crack jokes about this next subject, but I try. Yeah. I will persevere.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. Share. All right. I think that's going to happen, though. I think that there's going to be a trans woman born as a man, still have genitalia, in a wrestling match with the, or doing something that some sport that requires spandex, or in a short skimpy outfit. Like, have you ever watched like the long jumpers, or stuff that they do that the women do the long jump in? They're basically in bathing suits. They're they're practically in a bathing suit. And I think we're going to see some lady balls on national TV one day.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think they will call them like her testicles? Or lady balls is a good way to go, I guess. I mean, that'll be the accepted term, right? Lady balls.
Yeah, we're gonna see some lady balls on TV. It's gonna happen. But all right, let's see. All right, let's roll it. Let's roll it.
He presented all of his diplomas and certificates and
Oh wait,
the
hold on,
things
wait.
that he
I'm ahead of myself. They're not exactly in order. Wait, so let me just pull.
Yeah, we got to get
Hold on.
introduced to this concept here because
Yeah,
the story basically, and while you're switching the clips or organizing better, let me just build it up a little bit. The story that didn't make the news as it should have is during her confirmation, and Miss Kentanji Brown Jackson is actually an otherwise very well qualified candidate. She served in the court for a long time. She's a judge already. She started out as a prosecutor. I think Harvard grad. I'm not sure where she went to college, so let me back off on that. But she's, very, very qualified. Checks all the boxes. However, in her record as a judge, certain cases stood out for how lenient she punished the offenders. And there were a couple of cases where she's dealing with people who possessed, I call them kid vids because, the algorithm, but explicit images of children, kid vids. And this is a very serious subject matter. And Ted Cruz, I think I did send you the clip where Ted Cruz mathematically broke down just how lenient she was on some of these people who got caught with possessing significant amounts of kid vids. And it's just a very weird thing that of all the people to be lenient on, it wasn't like crackheads or carjackers or gangbangers. It was the guys with the kid vids. And so that was the big story that happened over the last week. And it was a lot of interesting back and forth exchanges between Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, and Kentanji Brown Jackson.
all right, let's go.
You did. Let me ask you about some of the things, though, that you said, because you said this morning, and I said you did. Let me ask you about some of the things, though, that you said, because you said this morning, and I appreciated it, how you want to direct the defendants. You want to get them to own up to what they've done in these cases. And I thought that was powerful, and I thought it was right. But let me just ask you about what you said to this defendant. You said to this defendant, for whom you sentenced to only 3 months in prison, that your collection, I'm quoting you, your collection at the time that you were caught was not actually as large as it seems. The government felt the need to respond to you on the record. They said the government doesn't believe that it's appropriate to just disregard the number of images, that the number of images can be appropriate. And indeed, in this case, the defendant has amassed an extremely large collection of child pornography. But you disregarded that. You also told the defendant, you said this seems to be a case where you were fascinated by sexual images involving what were essentially your peers. And then you went on to say the defendant was merely trying to satisfy his curiosity. Curiosity is your word. One more thing on this, same idea. You said you were viewing, this is you to the defendant, you were viewing sex acts between children who were not much younger than you. And this whole discussion is about why you're only giving him 3 months. Judge, he was 18. These kids are 8. I don't see in what sense they're peers. I've got a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 16-month-old at home. And I live in fear that they will be exposed to, let alone exploited, in this kind of material. I don't understand you saying to him that they're peers and that therefore you were viewing sex acts between children who are not much younger than you, and that's somehow a reason to only give him 3 months. Help me understand this.
All right. And I don't know if you want to comment on what was laid out right there, but one thing that might be good to do is just, I got her response queued right up. I think this part is in order. We go right to the response.
The response killed me because I covered this a few days ago, and it was only like halfway through, so even more stuff came out after I covered it. But I noted look how carefully, like, I swear she carves every word out, like, meticulously. She's very, very thoughtful about how she says every word right now. This is brilliant.
He had done and argued, consistent with what I was seeing in the record, that this particular defendant had gotten into this in a way that was, I thought, inconsistent with some of the other cases that I had seen. Part of what a judge is doing, as required by Congress, is thinking about this case, thinking about unwarranted sentencing disparities. That's in the statute. Other cases, other determinations that a judge may have made about this. I don't remember in detail this particular case, but I do recall it being unusual. He presented all of his diplomas and certificates and
Wait a
the
minute.
things that
Hold
he
on, hold
had
on.
done and argued.
All right, that was it. I don't know if it was a more or another bigger, longer clip of this, because it looked like she gave a.
I think it might be a different exchange as well, though.
Hold on.
Because she was explaining, like, why she gave out the 3-month sentence when she did that, and basically what she said is he like went to the classes and he checked the boxes or something like that, to that effect.
Yeah, hold on. I think I got this one. That's a Shia yet. Shit. Hold on. Wait a minute. Do I got that one up? All right, hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna play it while I'm pulling it up. That way I can. Hold on. Oh, this is a good one.
2. You gave him 3 months. And when you did, you made a number of arguments and statements in the record. And I'd like to go through some of them because I've read them all. Prosecutor in this case, it's a liberal administration. I think it's fair to say. This isn't the state of Texas. See my colleague from Texas next to me here. Prosecutor in this case, nevertheless, still asked for 2 full years in prison. You gave the defendant 3 months. Guidelines called for 10 years. Prosecutor wanted at least 2. You gave him 3 months. And when you did, you made a number of arguments and statements in the record. And I'd like to go through some of them because I've read them all. And the first argument you made was that the federal guidelines that punished child porn offenders, the ones that Congress wrote, were, and I'm quoting you now, are in many ways outdated. That's your quote. And you went on to say about why you thought they were outdated. I'm going to quote you again. You say, and I quote, "I don't feel that it's appropriate to increase the penalty on the basis of the number of images or prepubescent victims," meaning little kids, "as the guidelines require, because these circumstances exist in many cases, if not most, and don't signal an especially heinous or egregious child pornography offense," end quote. I just want to ask you about that because I just have to tell you I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. We're talking about 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds. He's got images of these. The government said added up to over 600 images, gobs of video footage of these children. But you say this does not signal a heinous or egregious child pornography offense. Help me understand that. What word would you use if it's not heinous or egregious? How would you describe it?
Thank you, Senator, for letting me address
This is what I was talking about.
that you've put forward based on the record that you've reviewed. As a judge who is a mom and has been tasked with the responsibility of actually reviewing the evidence that you would not describe in polite company, the evidence
She's stalling for time, bro.
pointing to, discussing, addressing in this context is evidence that I have seen in my role as a judge. And it is heinous. It is egregious. What a judge has to do is determine how to sentence defendants proportionately consistent with the elements that the statutes include, with the requirements that Congress has set forward.
Yeah, that was the most labored answer I've ever heard. And like there was like a 10-minute pause between every word. That was not a black woman talking. He took all the black woman sister girl out of her.
Yeah, that was the levels of word salad was it was through the roof. It was through the roof. Like that. You can't give a good answer. You can't give a good answer to what she to what he asked her. It's nothing. It was nothing she could have said. There's just all to it. Okay, but let me. I don't even know where to start. Let's unpack what was thrown out there. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I say this carefully so I don't sound like I'm saying some crazy stuff. There's a such thing as somebody having some information. I mean, some what do you call them? Kid vids? Was that the right word?
That's a safe enough term, I think.
Okay, that's a safe term, even though I already messed up the algorithm earlier in the show. But it's a such thing as somebody having some kid vids on their computer, something that somebody sent them something, they downloaded something. There's an amount that somebody can have. Let me just explain it like this. There's been some times when I was researching something and I found a crazy part of the internet and saw some crazy stuff and was like, whoa. And let me push my laptop. I done seen some stuff that made me damn near throw my laptop. Like, what in the hell? Like, okay. It's clear that this wasn't the case in this, whatever this whole case was, if it's over 600 videos. And that's the thing I always ask. And some people don't understand why I ask that question, because they're like, if you got one on there, it's too many. Well, you don't know if somebody was researching something. There's been times when I've been researching certain laws on certain things, and I went down all kinds of rabbit holes. There's things like that. But
hey, question.
This wasn't. I'm just saying this wasn't that case. If what they pointed out was a collection, like that's what I look for. Do you have an overwhelming, non-negotiable amount of this stuff? Then it's clear. It's blatantly clear and obvious that you weren't researching, you weren't curious. It was for personal use, and so that makes it a non-negotiable thing, to where even if you don't want to throw the book at an 18-year-old, they were asking, the max was 10. They were asking for 2. I get you don't want to throw the book at an 18-year-old, but damn, to wash it down to 3 months is like, how do you do that if you got a collection with 600? Like, so
there's something else going on here.
Okay.
I did a video. I dropped a video just like yesterday or the day before, and I was trying to piece together through a series of clips why she would possibly rationalize the decision the way she did. And I was watching a clip from The View, and it finally came out. And I think it kind of goes without saying what kind of guy would be into this sort of thing. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily actually. It goes across the board, male or female. But anyway, the guy in this particular case is an 18-year-old gay man.
Okay.
And I think that is what's being protected here. And there's a conversation that people dare not have because
wait, hold on. The guy involved was gay. I didn't know that.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
In this particular, okay, now it makes sense.
This exact case, the Hawkins case, I think it's called, is an 18-year-old gay man. I haven't been able to find out race, because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't surprise me if she was caping for the weird black gay kid. But so far, what I've been able to determine, It's an 18-year-old gay man who lived at home with his mom. I don't know if he had a dad, but he lived at home with his mom. Very religious, so anti-gay attitudes or whatever. But basically, there's a sort of issue in the gay community that is very much undiscussed. You ever heard of a character named Milo Yiannopoulos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're familiar with Milo. Milo was relatively prominent on the right wing, especially to be like a flamboyant, sassy gay dude. Like he was really becoming famous, and he got canceled almost overnight because he told a story about his own personal life, and I think he touched on something that no one's supposed to discuss. When he was a teenage gay, he had relationships with much, much older gay men. And so what I think happens in the community is especially with young gay people, it crosses the age limits of acceptable moral behavior, even for homosexuality. That age limit thing is a problem. So there seems to be a phenomena of the older gay male leading the young boy into gayness. And I think that's what got, that's what Milo Yiannopoulos, he told his story about that. He got canceled almost immediately. And so now when I'm looking at this story here about an 18-year-old gay male exploring his quote homosexuality, and it involves him looking at his peers, which are also underage gay. So if he's 18 and he's looking at a gay 17-year-old, that's quote his peers. But if he's still looking and he's looking further and down the list and he gets to like 8 and 10-year-olds, like they just said on the clip, I think we're protecting something a little different here in the name of protecting gay rights. And that's what's going on at the heart of this whole matter.
So, man. So I get where you're going with that. I get where you're going with that 100%. And it's clear and blatantly obvious, even like going back to the whole "what is a woman" thing. Okay, that's protecting, being in defense of the LGBTQ and all that, because you don't want to say what a woman is, you don't want to offend them. You can extrapolate that forward to where a gay 18-year-old was looking at, I guess, some gay kid vids. I hate to even call it that, because it's but anyway, he was looking at, he had a video library of that. He had a video library of it. And in her mind, instead of looking at it just plain and clear, wait a minute, there are children involved, she looked at it as this gay man is about to be de facto sentenced for also being gay. Somewhere in her mind, she thought that that's what he was de facto being sentenced for, because again, the people who put the cape on for the LGBTQ, they're not properly making the distinction that they should make. They have to make that strong distinction. We're in favor of gay rights, but when it comes to children being involved, we're going to protect children at all costs. And even if we got to behead a few gay people in public, we will protect children at all costs.
That is not what they're saying. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to just say no so many times, because they are absolutely not moving in that direction. If you look at the chat, some people have mentioned it already. The acronym is called MAP, M-A-P, Minor Attracted Person. When we spoke about this before, and I told you the LGBTQ plus, the plus includes some very uncomfortable realities.
Yeah.
And there is not, in fact, a major movement on the left to support and delineate between think the idea in and of itself, it kind of makes the argument of homosexual acceptance a joke, because what is acceptable homosexuality? And that's really what they're trying to say, that there's a version of homosexuality that's acceptable. We're not like those guys. Those guys are weirdos. Now, the left is not doing that. What they're doing is saying, no, those guys are us and we should all be protected, even though they like 8-year-olds. That's where things are going.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that things were going in the in the direction that we think that it should go, to where you're protecting gay rights, but you're gonna go all out and even if you gotta throw the book at some gay guy if anything happens with some kids. Well, the point that I was making is that that's where they should be going with it, and that's where, hey, I can, I'm not gonna join the damn parade and wave the flag, but I can at least not support. I can be okay with what they're doing. I can be okay with it. I can be like, hey, gay people, gay rights, okay, fine. All right, right to get married, fine. Social acceptance, fine. If they're not going to draw a hard line on children, then it's like all bets are off. All bets are off. That was my general point, and that's what things keep happening, and you keep pulling up stuff that prove that that's not what they're doing. They're not drawing a line right there. And again, I ain't gonna lie. When people were saying what that plus stand for, I was like, nah. But again, things keep happening to where if they don't rein that in and get that under control, then it's gonna be utter and absolute chaos on that. I mean, it already is, but I think what you're doing is unearthing something where that chaos that I'm talking about, it's already, it's already at the Supreme Court level at this point. And so again, I don't mean to be on some Chicken Little the sky is falling stuff, but I think you're on to something. I think you're on to something when you say the reason why she wouldn't light on him. I tend to believe. Let's just say that it was an 18-year-old. But let's go down. Let's go on and walk.
Bro, what if he was
Let's
black?
Go.
Come on,
Hold on. Let's walk
no,
through
Bernard.
this.
What if they're all black? Because I gave you a clip with Ted Cruz, and he breaks down numbers. What if they're all black? That's the thing I want to know. Like, are you doing this for the team, bitch? Is this for the team? Are you doing this for the community?
No. See, that's what I was about to go one step further than not just if they were all black. What if the guy was black and the minors involved were black girls? I tend to believe.
Oh no, he's gonna burn in hell.
I tend to
and
believe
they would dance on his grave.
I tend to believe that 10 years that was on the table, I tend to believe he would have got those 10 years from her. She would have gave him those 10 years. She would have saw him as the monster that he was. If out of the video library of 600 videos, if 10% of them were girls under the age of 10, he's done. Those 10 years, pack them up, send them away. So, but look at what she got very, very liberal on when it came to an 18-year-old looking at kid vids with 8-year-old boys being assaulted by grown men, and she only gave him 3 months. That's something right there.
I have a conspiracy-minded kind of thought process,
and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so that's why I be walking very, very carefully to try to make sure that I'm not going on some conspiracy stuff. But
and I don't want to drag anyone kicking and screaming. I want you to walk there tentatively on your own. Yeah, because it's not hard to put the pieces together if you just actually are given the pieces. No one is given the pieces anymore. That's the thing. No one really tells you why things are happening. But like I said, I'm not conspiracy. I am conspiracy minded.
Wait, hold on. Before you get to conspiracy, let me get this off the screen. Somebody is asking, you called into Tommy Sotomayor's show. No, I've never called into Tommy Sotomayor's show before, but he's came on mine twice. One of the times he was on my show, he clipped it and then used it on his show. He does that all the time when he hop on a smaller content creator's channel. He'll take a clip of it and make some content out of it. So yeah, I never called in this show. Just clearing that up.
But
Not that important, but go ahead.
yeah. So like I said, conspiracy theory minded. Yeah, it's me. However, when you think about the gender war, right? Something called the gender war, and a lot of black men don't even think the gender war exists. It's totally made up. And all right, fine, maybe it is. But let's imagine that there is a thing called a gender war. Wouldn't it be a very, very effective tactic to suppress men by one, attacking male sexuality? So like guys who have sex with underage girls, they get punished in the extreme. And then you also attack male sexuality by promoting guys who have sex with underage boys. They get defended, they get covered for. That is a brilliant assault on the male body politic on the whole.
Yeah, I ain't going. But I see where you're going. I'm not going. I think it's simpler. I think it's more so just again, they're walking on eggshells when it comes to the LGBTQ and not wanting to offend them in any way, shape, or form, because that's the direction that the left is going. The LGBTQ are basically they're the minority you don't fuck with nowadays. It just is
Okay.
what it is, and
Okay.
I'll keep it that simple. But a lot of times when a lot of people, especially in this space, come up with wild-eyed theories, give it some time.
Let me make it even simpler for you. You don't think it's conceivable that for the black feminist minded, it's a very simple process. Promoting homosexuality is female power.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Homosexuality amongst men gives women social and political dominance. It's very simple.
Yeah. 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 Promote and elevate the men who are likely to side with you, and who's most likely to side with you? Well, a gay man. Yeah, if you make it that simple, I can go with it. I
Yeah,
definitely can go
yeah.
with it.
It doesn't have to be as insidious as we're gonna make the babies gay. No. That's a
Right.
personal matter. That's a one-off personal thing. But as a strategy from feminism in general, oh yes, they very much want to promote gay men at the expense of heterosexual men, because fuck the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I get where you're going. Shout out to the Prophet of Thought series in the building. He says these old mamas are somewhat indifferent and apathetic when it comes to children being violated. Shout out to dang, I read it before you super chatted it, but there it is right there. Shout out to brother Xavier with the super chat. Do appreciate it. Oh man. But no, that was a wild one, and she more or less had no answer. You were right that she did basically filibuster her answer. I don't know, at least I don't think she normally talks that slow. I don't think she normally talks that slow, and I do know in these hearings they have a certain amount of time, and he didn't take up his whole time talking. A lot of people do that. They will look at look at that moment to ask her a question as just an opportunity to basically just get their shit off.
Yeah.
That's what Cory Booker did. You know, that's what they do. They just look at it as their opportunity.
Nah,
This is my day. But he did give her time to answer the question, and
nah, man.
she
I've
dragged
never
that
heard a
time
black
out.
woman. I've never heard a black woman talk that slow. Like, I wish my girl would argue with me the way she just argued with those white men. We would never break up.
Yeah, she walked very carefully in her answering of that question. She really did. But yeah, that was something right there. That was something right there. Shit, I don't even know what else we got here. I think we played all of the things.
There's one with Ted Cruz, and I don't know. I know I have it
think this
queued
is
up, but
well, no, this is, I
he
think, hold on. I'm in the middle of, wait a minute.
he was getting very mathematical about her sentencing strategy. And it's actually kind of hilarious, but I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe he got that deep with it. But he broke down the numbers of how she of how lenient she was on this particular crime.
Oh yeah, I did. I think this might be it.
Gender-based rule. You told her that you couldn't define what a woman is, that you were not a biologist, which I think you're.
Wait, this might not be it, but it's only 1 minute long, so we'll see by the end.
The only Supreme Court nominee in history who's been unable to answer the question, "What is a woman?"
I have the clip.
Let me ask you as a.
What'd you say?
I said I have the clip queued up if you need it.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, we can go right to yours then.
All right, 1 sec. Because and I was cracking up with this. You see a couple of people in the chat. We typed in the number 47.2 because Ted Cruz he really got mathematical and just how soft she is on this particular crime.
Yeah, real quick, SKC. What is a Cory Booker T-Bone story? What is that? I'm curious. But all right, go ahead.
Ooh, I don't know, but it sounds moist. I don't even want to know. All the Cory Booker stories are weird and suspect, bro. That's why he's got Rosario there.
Answering my question, you're right. You talked to them about the harms. Let me read you again from what you said at the bench. You said in this instance with Mr. Chazen, you said among the defendants nationwide who received a below guideline sentence on the basis of a downward variance as opposed to a departure, the average sentences ranged from 84 to 92 months. So that's what you got as the average. Our Democratic colleagues say, well, other federal judges sentence below the guidelines. That is true. A number of federal judges do. Our Democratic colleagues have not pointed to a single federal judge in the country who 100% of the time sentences child porn defendants to markedly below what the prosecution has recommended, unless you have a mandatory minimum and no ability to do so. In this case, you say comparable defendants are sentenced to 84 to 92 months. Sentencing guidelines by statute require you to have similarly situated defendants sentenced to similar sentences, but you don't sentence Chazen to 84 to 92 months. You sentenced him to 28 months. Why?
Senator, I've said what I'm going to say about these cases. No one case can stand in for a judge's entire record.
Okay, but I'm discussing
And
every one of the cases. So if you're
understand
not
that.
going to explain it, then I'm
Senator,
gonna-
would you please let her respond?
no, not if she's not going to answer my
Well, if
question.
you're just going to give a speech, then you shouldn't engage in
And
questions.
you are not taking my time. If you want to filibuster, you're welcome to do so, but do it
I
on your
would
own
at least
time.
give you an opportunity.
All right, I wanna stop it right there because that's actually not quite the right clip, and they get ready to cut him off. They shut Ted Cruz down because he was dragging the hell out of her. But I want to pull up this next clip where he really got into the numbers because I thought I had the right clip, but it was a different one. But right here, where all right, yeah, right here, he has a chart with the cases pulled up. And just look at this is beautiful. Like this is one of those moments where like I'm almost proud to watch my tax dollars at work.
Earlier, when Chairman Durbin was trying to preempt this line of attack, you said it's a sickening and egregious crime, which I very much agree with. And you said the guidelines lead to extreme departures. Okay. Let's look at what the prosecutors are asking for. And I would note that this was in the District of Columbia, where prosecutors are far more liberal than many of the prosecutors in this country. And in every case in which, so United States versus Hess, there was a mandatory statutory minimum of 60 months and you imposed 60 months because you had no discretion. In United States versus Nickerson, there was a mutual agreement of the parties to 120 months and that's what you imposed. In every other case, United States versus Chazen, the prosecutor asked for 78 to 97 months. You imposed 28 months. 28 months is a 64% reduction. In United States versus Cooper, the prosecutor asked for 72 months. You imposed 60 months. That was a 17% reduction.
Listen, I've never seen on the floor of Congress someone mathematically explain how soft you are on kid vids. Like this is Never in the history of anybody anywhere in Congress, no one applying for any job has ever had to suffer this right here. This was rough.
In United States versus Downs, the prosecutor asked for 70 months. You imposed 60. That was a 14% reduction. In United States versus Hawkins, the prosecutor asked for 24 months. You imposed 3 months. That was an 88% reduction. In United States versus Savage, the prosecutor asked for 49 months. You imposed 37. That was a 24% reduction. In United States versus Stewart, the prosecutor asked for 97 months. You imposed 57. That was a 41% reduction. Every single case, 100% of them, when prosecutors came before you with child pornography cases, you sentenced the defenders to substantially below, not just the guidelines, which are way higher, but what the prosecutor asked for on average of these cases, 47.2% less. Now, you said you made
and there's the 47.2%. She is, we have proven mathematically, she is 47.2% softer on kid vids than the norm. That's what we get in our first Black woman Supreme Court justice. Kind of soft on the kid stuff.
Wow.
Mathematical certainty is a hell of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I got man, he pulled out the quick maths on her and he gave her the business with the math. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. That was funny. I was seeing SKC posting that 47% in the chat room the whole day. I didn't even know what he was posting it for until exactly right now. And you do gotta, I mean, I do wonder, what if those cases where it was the minimum, that 60-month minimum, what if that minimum wasn't in place? It was
right.
Yeah,
he specifically collated by cases where she had to she had her own her own flexibility. She wasn't operating under a mandate.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. That is wild. I do wonder. Shoot, I'm losing my ability here. Earpiece falling out. I gotta change that. But that's I don't even got commentary on that one. It's
just 47.2%, bro. That like, it's mathematical. Like, do we even need more numbers to work against Black women at this point? They hate how we bring up statistics and facts over here. Like, this is just one more statistic to make the Black women look crazy. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Black women, I want y'all to discuss this amongst yourselves. Like, please invite me. I will provide refreshments. Like, just let me listen to how y'all discuss this new phenomena here, because y'all looking crazy. And I don't want y'all looking crazy no more.
Yeah. I wonder how far a lot of those cases go how far do those cases go back? Just out of curiosity. Because I'm trying to what I'm thinking about here is where and when did that political change happen to where it just became so strong that there now I'm relating it to LGBT. See, that's where you walk me into that trap. I'm relating it to LGBTQ and how they pander and cater to them.
It's not a trap.
But
it's the real world.
But then I told myself, wait a minute, this ain't LGBTQ. This is pedo stuff. But then that's the trap you walk me into. That plus, that P for plus stands for, it's like, oh, that's why she's doing it. But then so I don't know. It's wild, man. It's wild. Out of all the things, what if she was lenient on drug dealers? She could have been lenient on who knows what. There's a lot of things. What if it would have been the case where, like, she was lenient on issues where there were violence and or murder or something involving female to male? Well, okay, if that was the case, you know, we could say that was wrong, but at least we can connect the dot. Okay, she's a woman. A woman was in a situation, in a relationship. It was violence in a relationship. It probably was both ways. The woman snapped. We can logically see how a woman in a position of power would be lenient towards the woman who snapped. You know,
I mean, that's
it's
literally
probably
why we put women in positions of power.
right. So we can connect the dots why she will be lenient on that. Connecting the dots why she's specifically lenient when it comes to in situations involving kids being sexually I'm trying not to mess with the algorithm, kid vids, kids the assault of children in videos. I can't damn. It doesn't logically follow. It doesn't logically follow.
It's not supposed to. You're just supposed to be happy that she's black and everything else will work itself out. This is why I like all this pro-black stuff. I started my channel almost as like mocking pro-blackery and all that stuff because it is becoming absurd. Like, you thought she was going to cape for Pookie, didn't you?
That's what, yeah, you know, a lot of people, like the people that want to see, you know, criminal justice reform and all of that and everything, and which I get, which I understand. There's some stuff about it that where they be reaching on some arguments, but in general, yeah, I get it. I'm with it. But here's the thing: when they see somebody like her make it to the Supreme Court, they like, yeah, they got their fist in the air, you know, fist in the air for that. But I don't think it's going to play. I don't think it's going to play out exactly how they thought. Nate Dogg in the building. He says, the Luciferian left Supreme Court nominee, the pro-pedo Miss Brown Jackson. Yeah, salute chat, salute Bernard Riley. If SKC and Little Big Nate are available, want to come up, I don't think we even got that many more videos to play. I mean, I know you got clips and videos for days, but SKC and Little Big Nate want a piece of this. Yeah, I could definitely
yeah, I would love to get their takes on this too. And I don't really have much more.
Come on up. Almost missed a super chat from the brother Tan in the building. Says, just tuning in, but have you covered Daily Wire how Jeff Bezos' ex-wife gave $274 million to Planned Parenthood to help BWs get abortions? No, I haven't. I think I heard about that, but didn't know too much about it. Okay, Nate absolutely coming up. We got Nate, we get SKC. That'll be that'll be perfect. But shout out to Tam. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream in any way, shape, or form. Haven't checked the cash apps. I'll check those in a second. Another video that was out here, and I don't even know what this one is. This is somebody's bathroom video. So I don't even know what this got to do. I don't even think I watched this one. So I'm just pulling this one up on a whim. I don't even know what kind of crazy shit you sent me right here, but we about to see.
Oh, something I sent you?
Yeah.
Oh well, it must be good if I sent it.
Yeah, we can go with that. We can go with that. I just saw a white girl in the bathroom stroking her hair.
Oh, no, that is not a white girl, and I didn't even mean to include this. Actually, this is an accidental send. I was because I had this stuff queued up to do on my own show because I was gonna go in a lot. I was gonna go down the rabbit hole with this, but this is the consequence of the whole "what is a woman" thing. Like this.
Yep. Okay, let's go. No, don't even set it up. Let's go.
Yeah. Don't set up.
Being a girl, and I've gotten some day 8 of being a girl. And I've gotten some messages that are saying that I need to be calling myself a woman and not a girl. And I didn't even know that some women were offended by being called girls. So that's really good to know. But for me, the word girl feels great because I never got to be one growing up. And it feels very able to make mistakes and growing and changing and evolving. Whereas the word woman feels very strong and confident and powerful. And that still intimidates me a little bit. So I'm gonna keep calling myself a girl. Hope that's okay. Love ya. Day 8 of being a girl.
All right.
And
okay.
I've gotten
Go.
some messages.
Yep. Just go. Go.
Yeah, the cringe. The cringe. I know I didn't want to bring that much cringe to your show. We usually do that on my show.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's who we're protecting now. I think that's who this Supreme Court nominee is really fighting for. Not for the community. Not even for Pook.
All right. SKC and Little Big Nate. The link is in the chat.
I got there is actually one more clip. Let me drop this Ted Cruz thing. There is one more clip I did want to include because like I said, they dragged her pretty good during this hearing. So I want to pull up the last oh yeah, this part right here. This was good because I think it just the imagery, the old white men versus the young liberal black woman here. I think it just the imagery,
Hold on, I gotta mute Nate real quick. Hold on. Oh no, you good. I heard you was about to say my bad, and I muted you right when you said it. But all right, go ahead. You got it, Hood Conservative.
In comes the internet. On the internet with
now, this is her explaining her logic as to why she rules the way she rules. Basically, she's saying that the technology changed. So back in the 80s, you would have had to drive 2 hours and meet a guy in a shady parking lot and he hands you like an envelope and that's how you get your kid stuff. But nowadays you can click a button and you can get it. So therefore it's easier and we should punish you a little bit less. Like she's kind of making some soft logic. Yeah, she's making soft logic like that. I kid you not. That is the essence of her argument.
in comes the internet. On the internet, with one click, you can receive, you can distribute tens of thousands. You can be doing this for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, you are looking at 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
Good. Good.
I understand.
Absolutely
Senator,
good. I hope you are.
to do
Good.
Allow her to.
See, and this is what I meant about just the juxtaposition. So the old white man is like, yeah, hang them, kill. Yes, they deserve to die. I hope they burn in hell. But you got the black lady up there like, no, wait, no. They're good people. We need to care about them. I'm trying to be reasonable here.
I want to step back and say this would, you can at least draw a line with you could draw lines of internal logic if we were in a place where a black person was being nominated to the Supreme Court and she was explaining the reasons why black criminals, let's just say the drug dealers or whatever, why we should be lenient. Like if she was fighting for her people, even the scum of our people, if she was fighting for black people, and there was an old white man saying, "No, good, yes, they deserve to die, and hope they burn in hell." We can say, okay, it's a black person made it to a black position of power, and she's fighting for black people, and it's an old white man. I mean, that at least historically would line up. That's what I meant when I say the lines you could draw. That at least would line up historically. But that ain't even the case now. She's fighting for pedos. That's what she's fighting for.
It's hard to say, isn't it?
And it's the old white man who in a previous time would have been the racist saying, no, lock Pookie up for 100 years. Lock Pookie in Ray. I don't give a damn. Now this guy is the one really on the good side of it, fighting for children.
No, it's worse than that. The racist, because I don't want to take his racism from him. Let him have his racism in its full glory, right? And we're going to take him and his full white racist glory. And the racist white man loves the kids more than she does. What does that tell you?
Damn.
Yes, that's where we at with this shit. What does that tell you when the racist white man who literally has Klan ties, he's trying to save the kids. Meanwhile, she's like, fuck them kids.
You're telling me you're telling me he took off his white sheets, came in there, sat down to fight for the children.
I've
No, he's fighting for the kids with his white sheet on.
I've said several times on my channel that I am more inclined to split a 12-inch Subway turkey and Swiss with a Klansman than I am Stacey Abrams. I'll have much more in common with that Klansman, much more. So, yeah, I'm not going to sit and split a sandwich with Stacey Abrams. It's not
well, you wouldn't have to split it with.
She's going to take it all.
She has her own. she will pull a 12-inch sub right out of her purse. She's good. But
my goodness. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No. Welcome aboard, Little Big Nate. Welcome aboard. Shows like this is right up your alley, man.
Right up my alley. I actually did a show about her earlier this week.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, I juxtaposed the way Black America treated Clarence Thomas, bringing into question his ability to, quote unquote, have the best interests of the community in mind because he has a white wife. And I don't see any of that with Miss Brown Jackson, oddly enough, when she has a white husband. I didn't understand it. You know, I played on that show, I played a video of Black women outside marching for Miss Brown Jackson. They were marching for Justice Jackson. And I searched, couldn't find any video of Black women marching for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, though. I searched and searched. And I was like 18 or 19 back in 91. And I remember watching C-SPAN. Brian Lamb, he was the owner of C-SPAN, and he used to host some of the morning shows. I remember watching Brian Lamb during the proceedings, and Black women and men calling into his show saying that Justice Thomas, he's not going to care about us. Number one, he's a conservative. Number two, he's got a white wife. I remember George Curry, who used to be the editor of a magazine called Emerge Magazine. And he would appear on Lead Story. It was like the Sunday show on BET. Came on years ago, you know, during Teen Summit and all that shit. And I remember reading articles that George Curry wrote questioning whether Clarence Thomas could actually care about Black people because he has a white wife. Those are not the exact words, but it was alluded to that. But none of that comes up when a Black woman has a spouse of the Caucasian persuasion. Isn't that interesting? Why are Black women permitted to be with whoever they choose, and Black America is supposed to rally behind them? And that's what my stream was about. But did any of you touch base? Because I'm just coming in. Did you cover the fact that not only is she very lenient towards these assaulters of children, she also thinks that the National Sex Offender Registry is unconstitutional. Have y'all covered that?
No, whoa, I had no idea. The rabbit hole is deep.
Yes. This woman believes the National Registry for Sex Offenders is unconstitutional. Period. Look, I know I came into this space beating and brutalizing the left, and that's what I'm going to do as long as I'm here, because I genuinely believe that is a huge part of Black people's problem, is our 60-plus year allegiance to the left. And these people are not playing. Governor Newsom last year signed in SB 145, which gives men 10 years older than adolescent teens, a man, meaning a 22-year-old man, or excuse me, 23-year-old man can have sex with a 13-year-old boy now and suffer no legal repercussions. SB 145, passed by Democrats, signed into law by Governor Newsom.
Yep. This is
They
true.
are
Came out
not
last year.
playing with this. This is the next domino to fall before, and I've talked about this on my channel. Mr. Fantastic had a guest once, and this is what his guest said. His guest said, a time is going to come when you, your lady, and your 7-year-old son or daughter are walking down the street together, and a 35-year-old man is going to walk up to your child, proposition them, and you ain't going to be able to say a goddamn thing about it. That time is coming. Y'all think it's a joke? Oh man, that'll never happen. They are going to be a protected class. Part of their strategy is to put people like this in power. Miss
Big
Jackson.
Nate.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you, are you familiar with the Pizzagate scandal?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you know that this judge, Miss Kentanji Brown Jackson, what a coinky dink, she was also the judge presiding over the Pizzagate shooter. So for those who don't know,
Really?
Pizzagate.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, she
get
is
a
the judge
backstory.
for the Pizzagate story. So Pizzagate, and it sounds so weird to say it, Pizzagate, but there is a conspiracy theory that came out when the WikiLeaks documents got released. And a lot of people were alleging that when they read through the documents, they found evidence of a major child sex scandal at the highest levels of federal government. People like John Podesta, members of the Obama administration, were all sort of connected to this. And they would meet up at this place called, I think it was called Rocket Pizza or Comet Pizza. Some pizza place in the DC area was like their unofficial meeting ground, and things would happen, deals would be made, trades would be made, you know, stuff went down there. So once the story broke, and not broke, but once the story became like a conspiracy theory world kind of thing. It started going around the conspiracy theory circles. Eventually, some guy kind of went crazy and took a rifle and went into the Comet Pizza store. And I don't know if he shot anybody, but he was arrested for that. And the judge who presided over that case is Miss Kentanji Brown Jackson.
Did not know that. Did not know that.
Very
And
small world.
Also, what you have to understand about the word pizza, I don't know if you've heard conservative about the emails during the Barack Obama administration about hot dogs. They would talk about
all the coded language,
Yes,
man.
it's
Obama
coded
loves hot
language.
dogs way more than a
Yeah.
grown man is supposed to.
They spent
All right, where we going now? Where we going? Where we going?
I'm trying to tell you, they spent. There was an email talking about spending $65,000 on these delicious hot dogs. Hot dogs is code word for male prostitutes, actually, and these emails that WikiLeaks dumped are replete with this coded language. You just have to know what the language means. And oftentimes children are referred to as pizza. And yeah, I mean, you can believe it or not. You do what you want. You keep thinking these people have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep watching Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid tell you how to think. And you'll be just fine.
Oh my goodness. God damn.
This is the world we're in. And the sooner we just say no. You don't have to put your hands on some transformer. You don't have to harm anybody. All you have to do is say no. When they ask you to suspend reality, tell them no. This woman, you know, I heard you, her conservative, say a little earlier about how you believe she's qualified. I would have to disagree with you, bro. If you don't know what a male and a female is, I think you're disqualified from being a Supreme Court justice.
No, I said she has the qualifications on paper. Obviously, listen, we're in
This
agreement,
woman-
but you know, on paper, right?
This woman cannot tell you what a woman is. Mark Lamont Hill went on the Candace Owens show and said men can have babies. This is where you're being pushed into a complete suspension of reality. If you are a good Democrat, Mr. What is it? Tim Scott, not the senator from South Carolina, but the CEO of Apple. Is it Tim Scott? Is that his name? The new Apple CEO.
I think you're right, but I'm not totally sure.
Well, you know, Apple just came out with a pregnant man emoji.
Oh yeah,
New-
and it's multiracial. It's like all
Yes.
the colors of pregnant men.
Yes. New Apple products will have a pregnant man emoji. Okay. No, well, that's no big deal. Okay, no problem. It's no big deal. When grown mentally ill men who think they're women are going in the bathroom with your 4-year-old, 5-year-old daughter or son, I don't want to hear about what's going on. There's already been several assaults that have happened.
Let me ask you this a little big Nate, because you can give a personal answer for this.
Sure.
At what age do your daughter, when y'all are out, y'all are at the mall, at what age do you stop bringing her into the men's bathroom with you and you just let her go on her own in the girls' bathroom?
She was 5. I would stand by the women's bathroom and she would go in. I would just stand by the women's bathroom. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I would just say that was a curiosity question for obvious reasons. Anybody following
a
what we're
father
talking
raising a
about
little
here?
girl by himself.
Yeah. You
got to figure that stuff out. You got to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, but the obvious reason why I ask is because if we're living in a world where guys are girls because they said so, that's something. Even though the trans population is, at the present state, still relatively small, that's still something that you got to think about when you just turning your girl loose into that bathroom. In some public bathrooms, especially at a mall, it's a really big bathroom with 10, 12 stalls in it. Somebody could just be camped out. It's that weird person has right to be in there. He got right to be in there. And you just turning your daughter loose, and so it's a whole thing that at the time when you was bringing your daughter up and you said, okay, yeah, she's old enough to go in the bathroom by herself. You didn't have to consider that then, but I guess if you had a 5-year-old now, you would have to consider that now. That it could be a full blown man in there who's just saying, hey, I'm a woman. You got to consider it.
I don't live too far from Charlotte, North Carolina, and about 5-6 years ago, it was a huge controversy. The CIAA routinely came to Charlotte, brought like $80 million, almost $100 million to the area. Huge celebrations, and because the city council did not allow mentally ill men who think they're women to go into the bathroom with women, CIAA pulled out. And the city council was speaking for the citizenry of the city of Charlotte, saying no. The city council capitulated, and now mentally ill men who think they're women, I do not call them trans women. I swear to God, it is so offensive. I want you to think about something. For how many years did women belabor the fact that I am more than just pieces of meat? I'm more than just breasts and a behind. To lo and behold, all I got to do is change a couple of pieces of meat and I can become a woman.
Oh no, not even. They're birthing people.
Oh, yes, they're not women anymore. They're birthing people. And you know what I love, Conservative? The coming war between feminists and the Transformers. That will rival the last 2 Avenger movies.
Yeah,
I stand with the patriarchy in all its forms. Even if, listen, patriarchies go to war with each other all the time. So let the trans patriarchy fight the women, and then we'll fight the trans patriarchy. It sounds like a win. That's a plan, gentlemen. That is a plan. We let the trans patriarchy get the women in check, and then we just quietly, have the rooftop parties like the Muslims do.
Well, you know what, Lil Big Nate, to what you were talking about in Charlotte, you said that was in Charlotte, right? I remember
North
that.
Carolina, yes, sir.
I remember that situation, and keep in mind, I was very much liberal back then. I was on the left, pretty tough back then, and I almost want to say that incident, because that was a big deal, because there was a guy. I used to listen to this guy, his podcast. He used to talk about a lot of different stuff, but he would delve into a lot of liberal politics. Oddly enough, this guy, this white dude, he's gotten he's leaning more right nowadays. But I mean, I don't listen to him no more, but I can tell he was hitting in that direction. But that situation that you described is that was like the early stages of my cognitive dissonance, like where I mean, like where it started to break down. I'd say the cognitive dissonance started to break down because I was very liberal on a lot of things. Well, at least I voted Democrat and considered
That's our
myself
default, bro. It's
yeah,
just our default.
I was voting the default Democrat, and I was legitimately liberal on some things. So I wanted to, side with the team, so to speak, but I was like, hold on. These Republicans, they are down there. They are saying the right thing. They're saying that we actually want to protect women and children, and we don't think it's good for a guy to be able to just go into the girls' bathroom, balls and wieners and franks, the balls and all. Like, we are saying that we don't think that's a good thing. They were making good points. They were like, does that extrapolate to the locker room? If he's allowed in the bathroom, is he allowed in the locker room?
Well,
okay,
don't forget the story at the Wii Spa. I think that was Cali. Was that Cali?
Yes.
Yo, and you know what? Antifa brought out an army to defend that, bro. They literally hit the streets and were attacking people. There was a little battle over the Wii Spa.
All situations like that. That was the early stage of where I could not. I was just like, what the
Could
hell?
not justify it anymore.
Yeah, that was when I finally realized that things were just was just going off the rails when we couldn't like say, wait, hold on, wait, let's stop. Let's look at this, let's examine this. We're literally talking about a dude just taking his towel, just going into the women's locker room at that point, taking a shower and being exposed in front of what is 5-year-old girls in there.
Yes,
I mean,
women and children. Yes.
So like once it got to that point, and I remember Trevor Noah on the Daily Show, who I used to love Jon Stewart. I mean, Jon Stewart's still funny to me. Trevor Noah is still funny to me. They're still very funny, and I like that. I like the political humor that they did on there. But when I saw Trevor Noah, he literally making a case for, yes, it will be uncomfortable, but that's what life is about. It's, there's always going to be uncomfortable moments that we have to work through with people with our differences and this and that.
Really?
I'm like, you're saying all of that, but you do realize you're talking about a dick in the girls' locker room.
Yep.
A grown man's hairy ass dick in the girls' locker room. That's what you're talking about.
That is a woman's dick, brother. It's a woman's dick.
And once and this was like 5 years ago, and I'm sitting there like, damn, they've really they've went here.
And here you thought this was all about giving the LMNOP community the right to love each other.
Man,
that's what it all was about. How dare you be against love? How dare
exactly. You? And that dude, they had me because I was I used to I mean I've talked to Hood Conservative about this. This is a reoccurring series here, but I've talked to him about that, how back then during that time, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, I would see people on message boards saying the stuff that y'all are saying now. And I was like, dude, y'all are crazy. Y'all are reaching. Y'all are going too far.
Mm-hmm.
I was that guy. I was that guy that was like, no, this is about, people in their life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. They want to get married. If they're gay, they gay. And God damn it, they just gay. It is what it is. It's none of our business. Let them go and get married. I was that person who was, I was making that argument with confidence. And when people like you and the Conservative was saying, well, next is going to be this, is going to be this, is going to be that, is going to be this, I called y'all crazy. And every Saturday I sit here and I admit Bernard Riley, the 8 years ago, Bernard Riley was wrong. You guys were not crazy.
You and I are like similar age group, and I probably have the same experience. That long ago, I was probably like, yeah, nah, let's just be cool with them, and it's not gonna get that bad. Who knew this is where we would wind up in a few short years, bro?
Ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, ancient Greece. History is replete with what happens to civilizations when
what they say about black people in reading, bro. I didn't know that stuff.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, man, these are some scary times. Like, again, we have a Supreme Court justice, a potential Supreme Court justice, who I would bet you anything is in favor of a national firearms registry, which would be unconstitutional because the Constitution addresses your right to bear arms, but thinks that a national registry that would protect adults and children, making sure they don't live in too close a proximity to these mentally ill, filthy lunatics, that's unconstitutional because the victimization of those who like to play with children is coming. Considering them a protected class is where this is headed, and this woman will be instrumental in making that happen. She will. How many years ago did you think it was going to be crazy for the governor of one of our largest state, if California might be our largest state, I'm not sure, it's either Texas or Cali, and signing in, like I said, SB 145, go check it out. A man 10 years older than a 13 or 14 or 15-year-old boy can have sex with that teenager, and there will be no legal repercussions whatsoever. It was done to, quote unquote, protect the interests of young gay boys. This is what they used as justification to pass a law allowing grown men to sleep with teenage children.
You see what I mean, Bernard? I tried to explain that there is an element of especially with men, but there's an element of the homosexual culture that crosses acceptable age barriers. I'm trying to be very delicate with the words I use here, but there's something happening in the gay community that it just they respect no boundaries. Put it that way. But I got a clip here. I wanted to kind of. I didn't want to make this about CRT and that whole subject matter.
Well, hold on before we segue into that. This was a older super chat. Shout out to Antonio. That looked like it's supposed to be Antonin Spinelli. Shout out to you. Says she's married to a white man and she is lenient on a crime overwhelmingly committed by a white man. Neither side wants to see if that's her bias. Interesting connection there. Dapper Gents in the building said both parties are the same, no different. Actions is the proof. As Black people, we need to become a sovereign nation. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
I disagree, but okay.
Disagree with both parties being the same?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My apologies. It's just not true. I'm sorry. When it comes to misappropriation of government funds and starting wars, yeah, there's some credence to that. But when it comes to cultural and moral issues, the two parties couldn't be more different. They could not be more different. The left is promoting this. They promote pedoism. They promote self-mutilation through this transformerism. They promote everything LMNOP. There are people in the Republican Party that participate in this madness and filth, but they don't promote it. You'll find no Republicans promoting this. They are not the same. They're just not on these social and moral issues. They're just not.
All right. Thank you for that super chat, Dapper Gent. Go ahead, Hood. You had something up ready to go about CTR.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to make this whole show about like CRT and all, and I kind of
we in the final 30-minute stretch, so we can switch gears.
Right,
it's all good, yeah.
And good, because I wanted to just bring up an ancillary point about CRT because we're going to talk about it in this clip here. Because one thing, she got caught lying. Nobody ever notices that, but she got caught lying while she was testifying in front of Congress. But that's a whole nother thing. With this CRT stuff, the same people who believe in this gender theory and all this, being soft on the kid vids and all that, they are avid supporters of the critical race theory. It goes hand in hand, even if the ideologies are relatively unrelated. It's literally being brought to you by the person who believes in both of them at the same time. So the person has CRT in one hand and gender theory in another hand. Like, these two things are inextricably related at this point, and you can never get off that. And so now we have Judge Kentanji Brown Jackson being questioned about her stance in CRT. There was a lot more to this at the hearings, but I just got this one clip for you.
Judge Jackson, all of us will agree that no one should be discriminated against because of race. When you just testified a minute ago that you didn't know if critical race theory was taught in K through 12, I will confess, I find that statement a little hard to reconcile with the public record, because if you look at the Georgetown Day School's curriculum, it is filled and overflowing with critical race theory. That among the books that are...
That school, the Georgetown Day School curriculum, she sits on the board of the school. So when he asked her about critical race theory, and she responds, well, I don't know that it's being taught in schools, and it's actually a college level legal theory, she just lied in open court or in open Congress.
Little hard to reconcile with the public record, because if you look at the Georgetown Day School's curriculum, it is filled and overflowing with critical race theory. That among the books that are either assigned or recommended, they include Critical Race Theory, an introduction. They include The End of Policing, an advocacy for abolishing police. They include How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. They include literally stacks and stacks of books, and I'll tell you two of the ones that were most stunning. They include a book called Anti-Racist Baby by Ibram Kendi. And there are portions of this book that I find really quite remarkable. One portion of the book says babies are taught to be racist or anti-racist. There is no neutrality. Another portion of the book.
Keep in mind, bear in mind, everyone, she sits on the board of a school that teaches this book to children.
They recommend to babies confess when being racist. Now, this is a book that is taught at Georgetown Day School to students in pre-K through second grade, so 4 through 7 years old. Do you agree with this book that is being taught with kids that babies are racist?
Senator.
No one in the history of the Supreme Court has ever been asked if babies are racist, by the way. That is a brand new type of questioning for this whole process.
Agree with this book that is being taught with kids that babies are racist?
Senator.
Look at this clown.
I do not believe that any child should be made to feel as though they are racist, or though they are not valued, or though they are less than, that they are victims, that they are oppressors. I don't believe in any of that. But what I will say is that when you asked me whether or not this was taught in schools, critical race theory, my understanding is that critical race theory as an academic theory is taught in law schools. And to the extent that you were asking the question, I understood you to be addressing public schools.
And that right there is where the lie just became apparent. It's like, no. They teach it in private school. Public school, though, no. It's totally safe. You got to go to college if you want to learn about it in public schools. Like, which one is it, lady? Do they teach it in school or not? Can we get a simple, straightforward yes or no?
And
Georgetown Day School.
Go ahead, Nate.
Well, I was going to say, in the state of, and while this is going on, last year in the state of Oregon, a Black legislator in the state Senate submitted a bill, Black female, to remove the math, reading, and writing requirements for high school graduation because it puts undue pressure on Black and Latino and Asian students. So all the requirements in the state of Oregon, for you to graduate with math, reading, and writing, have now been removed. Okay? The systematic dumbing down of our children, this is all a plan of your Luciferian left. Now, if you're comfortable voting for them, keep voting for them.
Ted Cruz got accused of a hate crime for how he handled this whole hearing, by the way. He did such a bang-up job. They accused him of a hate crime.
Just like the religious school that Justice Barrett was on the board of is a private school.
Okay, so you agree critical race theory is taught at Georgetown Day School?
I don't know, because the board is not, the board does not control the curriculum. The board does not focus on that. That's not what we do as board members. So I'm actually not sure.
Well, and I'll note that the board is chaired by Professor Fairfax, your college roommate who introduced you yesterday. So the two of you serve on the board together. Another book that is on the summer reading for 3rd through 5th grade is a book called Stamped for Kids, again by Ibram Kendi. I read the entirety of the book, and I will say it is an astonishing book. On page 33, it asks the question, can we send white people back to Europe? That's on 33. That's what's being given to 8 and 9 years old. It also, on page 115, says the idea that we should pretend not to see racism is connected to the idea that we should pretend not to see color. It's called color blindness. Skipping ahead, here's what's wrong with this. It's ridiculous. Skin color is something we all absolutely see. Skipping ahead, so to pretend not to see color is pretty convenient if you don't actually want to stamp out racism in the first place. Now, what this book argues for is the exact opposite of what Dr. King spoke about on the floor of the Lincoln Memorial. And are you comfortable with these ideas being taught to children as young as 4 and in respect to the first book, as young as 8 and 9 in respect to the second book?
Senator, I have not reviewed any of those books, any of those ideas. They don't come up in my work as a judge, which I'm respectfully here to address. In my work as a judge, which is evidenced from my near decade on the bench.
Okay, good. Then let's go back to your work as a judge.
And that was the hate crime against Kentanji Brown Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Protect Black women at all costs.
Wow. All costs, all right? Even if it kills you.
I
mean, no, I joked about this on my stream, and I want you guys to consider this. Are you willing to sacrifice your firstborn son to fight white supremacy?
Well, explain that one.
No, I mean that in the most literal sense possible. Are you willing to give your son up to the church of leftism if it means fighting white supremacy? Your son may come home in a dress one day, but we'll put the white man in his place finally.
Oh.
And the Black folks love to talk about the epidemic of school shooters, and how they're usually white, which they are. How about a system of education that completely demoralizes white students? And imagine what's going to happen the more radical, the more anti, quote unquote, white folks this criteria becomes. Imagine what's going to happen. You thought school shooters was a problem before. I don't think you've seen anything yet. Whether, this whole issue of race is such a convoluted one. If you think having a bunch of demoralized white people in America, where white folks are 60+% of the population, is going to help us, I would have to disagree with you. And that's what they want. They want a bunch of suicidal, demoralized white students. And that won't bode well for industry. It won't bode well for a whole host of different things in our country. It just won't.
Oh man. This this was definitely a good one, definitely an interesting one. Shout out to Victor Carter in the building with the $10 super chat. He says, this is such a great episode. I'm from Louisiana, originally moved to Oregon, and I got to say this country is crazy when it comes to race. Oregon it's such a weird place, dude. Never been there, but I'll take your word. I'll take your word. But yeah, this is interesting. Well, hold on before I get into what I was about to say. Leon 008 says Justice Amy Coney Barrett got the same heat that she did. These types of interviews are normal. They do thrash people pretty bad when they come through there. I mean, again, nobody gets accused of a hate crime for the interrogation. I mean, we talked about Kavanaugh early in the show. He got it bad over something that amounted to
false allegations.
Some false allegations in pursuit of a woman. I forget all the details, but yeah, essentially some false allegations from high school and college. It seemed. Is that about accurate?
He touched the butt in high school allegedly.
Oh, and it was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You probably remember the
same
details.
thing with Clarence Thomas. I played Anita Hill's testimony and Clarence's, and the Anita Hill story is so ridiculous on its face. They started off at the Department of Education in the late 70s. She alleges this guy talked about bestiality porn. Can you imagine coming into your workplace and talking about the Betamax video you have of bestiality porn? Just with random coworkers? Does Clarence Thomas strike you as that type of guy?
Yeah.
He just doesn't strike me. And so I'm dead serious. She talks about how Justice Thomas talks about.
I'm trying to imagine how you segue into that, like over the water cooler.
You're at the Department of Education, and here comes this, awkward black guy with his glasses, and out of his mouth, he's talking about his Betamax. That's, I know I'm aging myself, but his Betamax video of bestiality porn that he watched that weekend. This is what Anita Hill said. And Anita Hill also said that, he talked the whole, who put a pubic hair on my Coca-Cola can? Who the hell says this shit? And then after years of Clarence Thomas pursuing her and Clarence Thomas asking her out and she declining his advances, right before she left, the EEOC is where they both ended up. She was about to leave the EEOC. Clarence Thomas, who's been holding a candle in his heart for her for almost a decade, asked her out one more time, and she said yes. And they went out to dinner just to discuss business. So a guy who has said all this inappropriate sexual stuff to you for over a decade that you found so offensive, you end up going out to dinner with him before you leave the EEOC because you want a recommendation. Isn't that strange? And we believe this nonsense. So again, with unproven, unsubstantiated claims from Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas got electronically lynched, like he said. But Miss Brown Jackson has a litany of provable issues, leniency on these child predators, just complete leftist ideology, which, it's a liberal for a liberal on the court, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's the radical leftism. This is not Kennedy liberalism. This is not Bader Ginsburg liberalism. This is a hard left radical ushering in an entirely new society type liberalism that none of us are ready for.
Let me put a finer point on this, Big Nate. And I know we're winding down here, and I gotta get out of here in a minute too. But I think it's very significant to note that when it comes to like the Clarence Thomas and really, the upright, right-leaning black man, when you want to make him look bad, you have to lie on him. You have to conjure stories up on him. You have to come up with all these fantastical scenarios to convince people he's not as good as he really is. When it comes to the most educated, highly successful, operating at the highest levels of society, black woman, you want to make her look bad? Just show everybody her record.
I just would ask the black women in the chat, why do we question whether Justice Thomas will be able to adjudicate fairly on the Supreme Court when it comes to black people because he has a white wife, but we don't ask the same question of Brown Jackson, Kentanji Brown Jackson, when she has a white husband? Why are black women, quote unquote, permitted and free to love who they want, but we aren't?
Good questions right there. Good questions right there. We almost can call those the last final words, unless either one of you got something else you got to say, because I, for some reason, has gotten rather tired, and I got somewhere to be as well. But,
yeah, I'm done, man. You guys have a good day.
But no, yeah. If you don't got any last words, Hood Service, Lil Big Nate, you could definitely drop some last words. I have not. Yeah, I was about to say I have not seen. Where's RM when you need her? RM take the day off. I don't see no links in the chat. Y'all are slacking.
I know. I've been trying to do the job myself while I was here, but I did put you in the chat a couple of times as well as my own channel. So I did the best I could do.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Lil Big Nate and the Hood Conservative. And yeah, with that said, look, I gotta roll. This was Dapper Gents coming through with a super chat at the buzzard. He says that's why I say build our own infrastructure, become self-sufficient, wean ourselves off the reliance of non-black aid or handouts. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Agree with that. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. But with that said, everybody who supported the stream in any way, shape, or form, thank you very much. Whether you super chat, like I don't think anybody sent the cash app, but a lot of people came through and super chatted. I do appreciate everyone. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm finding out. I guess Tommy Sotomayor lost another channel.
Yes, it's all over the place.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm just now finding that out. Shout out to Grown Man Business dropping the link. Said subscribe to Lil Big Nate, Jackie Jackson, dropping the links. Shout out to y'all. But everybody who been a part of this stream in any way, shape, or form, thanks and salute. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace.